My name is Nicole Lineker, and I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about hemostasis, or the halting of blood. This is a three-step process. There is a vascular phase, a platelet phase, and a coagulation phase. Now each phase has its own function and importance, and that's where I'm going to come in. We've all gotten a paper cut before, or maybe even worse. But let's start small with a paper cut. When you first get it, and a little blood comes out and then stops after a short time, that is the result of vascular spasm, which is the constriction of vessels allowing less blood to flow through. Once you start to bleed and the vascular spasm has happened, the vascular phase is also started. This is a 30-minute period of vascular spasms where three major things occur. First, the endothelium cells tighten, exposing the next layer to the bloodstream. Second, the cells release chemical factors and hormones. Third, the plasma membrane becomes sticky, allowing the platelets to become attached to it so the blood stops exiting the vessel. Once this has happened, we enter the platelet phase, which is the second phase of hemostasis and the blocking of the opening in the broken vessel. In this phase, we have a few key things that occur. We have platelet adhesion, which is when the platelets actually attach to the sticky membrane. Then, other platelets start sticking to each other, which is platelet aggregation. Lastly, we have the platelet plug that closes the broken vessel. From there, we enter the coagulation phase, or the blood clotting phase. In this, there are three pathways: extrinsic, intrinsic, and the common pathway. The extrinsic pathway begins with the release of tissue factor, or factor 3. Then it binds to calcium to make factor 7 that combines with the enzyme to make factor 10. This starts the common pathway. On the other hand, we have the intrinsic pathway, which is a little more complicated. It is activated by proenzymes, then continues along the pathway with platelet factors. After binding to calcium, it binds to clotting factors 7 and 9. When all is bound together, it forms an enzyme complex that allows activation of factor 10. Once factor 10 is activated, the common pathway begins. The factor 10 forms the enzyme prothrombinase. After it is converted, it is then thrombin, which completes the clotting process by converting fibrinogen to fibrin. Just to further clarify, clotting factors are proteins in the plasma that are important for clotting. After some time, the clotting retraction occurs, which pulls the edges of the vessel back together. This reduces bleeding, the size of the damaged area, making it easier to complete repairs, and stabilizes the wound. After the repairs are made, fibrinolysis dissolves the clot. The proenzyme plasminogen is activated by thrombin and tissue plasminogen activator. These produce the enzyme plasmin, which breaks down the fibrin and erodes the clot. So next time you get a paper cut or some other type of cut, do not pick the scab, because you will have to start this whole process over again. I am Nicole Lineker, and this was hemostasis.